Aje, welcome back to the Sisi Wanaume podcast, the number one podcast on all things men. Aje, welcome back to the Sisi Wanaume podcast with me, Salif Nyambok. This is a safe space for the Kenyan man on a journey of self-discovery. This is Shida's a Nice Guys Part 2, where we continue to look at nice guys and how their dysfunction plays out in their relationships. Have you ever asked yourself as a nice guy, why do all the pretty girls seem to like all this brutish, messy, rude, player kind of guys at the expense of you and your rays of sunshine? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. So, Chapter 8 of the book that I had referred you to last time, which is No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover, is a chapter that specifically deals with this aspect, and it actually is titled Getting the Sex That You Want. So this is the part that can actually get you laid. Apparently, that the infinite wisdom has been dropped there. And sometimes it's not even about like the relationships, it's more like, are nice guys able to form bonds that actually enable them to get what they actually want in life, So let's say if you look back at most nice guys, you would find that there are some kind of memories of childhood that make him feel like he was bad. He never got his needs met in a timely manner. The effects, he grew up like with sexually wounded parents. There are some sexual distortions from a messed up society. I think we can all agree to that in KE. There's the absence of sexual information. We don't really have the talk in our context so much. And most adults actually brush over this issue. And in schools also, it's not taught as rigorously as it needs to be. There's guilt, sexual guilt associated with centuries of religious influence. We have long-term viewed like things like sex as very unholy, dirty things. So sometimes coming out of that, when now you're expected to integrate into society and suddenly, express yourself, find people attractive, be attractive yourself, and all that stuff, listening with your body, you're not able to do that kind of stuff. The effects of covert sexual bonds created by their mother. There's some guys who are unable to actually get partners in life because they are forever questioning whether they will live up to their mother's standards or they will be the kind of person their mother was. It's a monogamous bond. There's the trauma of sexual violations. That's a big area also. Early sexual experiences wrapped in secrecy. We talked a bit about that in Stolen Innocence in our first episode. Many nice guys actually go through some experiences which they don't share with people, and these things come out to harm them at later stages in life. There's hidden compulsive behavior. This could be pornography, masturbation, drug use, anything along those lines, something that you do compulsively and you hide from other people in society. Memories of previous sexual failures or rejections, and so on. So every time a nice guy actually meets a viable partner, all these decisions come into mind, and some kind of self-sabotaging thing starts happening at this point in time for most people, where they will avoid sexual situations and avoid sexual opportunities. This means that even if this stuff is handed to you on a silver platter, ushaona sometimes mademu complain that wanakupatia all the signals, they've given you the green light and you still don't come through. This is exhibit A. That you are struggling with some aspects of you internally. That is why you are unable to actually integrate fully. You try too much to be a good lover. In the event that you have a relationship, sasa wewe, your goal is to be that man who could do no wrong, which is an unrealistic goal to live by, because we are human beings and we are flawed. And if you subscribe to that, then there won't be a relationship there. You repress your life energy. This means that you just don't take an active role in your life. Unaona? Kama we ni ule mse unaamkanga kila asubuhi, you just watch movies the whole day, or you bake up, or you drink, na hakuna kitu unataka kudu, hutaki kuenda mahali, hutaki kuoga, hutaki, you're just not actively engaging in life. You don't want to talk to people. Then you can't really know those skills because you're not really putting yourself out there. Now, you find that a lot of nice guys like the attention of women. And in social situations, they may feel more comfortable even connecting with women. Over time, I think due to conditioning for a lot of us, especially if you were raised by a single mom, you have developed some kind of skills that allow you to be a bit friendly with women. There are also some nice guys who made the decision to be different from their fathers, especially now if you grew up in that context. That can also play a part. So you want to do things that are like you want to run away from your masculine aspects and more or less try and run towards girls and relate more with them and their issues. And then lastly, the effects of like religious teachings and the like, where they told you, you can't approach certain genders unless you have an intention to marry or something like that. You get my point? And literally what Robert is trying to say here, that, nice guys are masters of their own undoing, because they do a lot of stuff that leads nowhere. You chat girls up only to leave them really wondering what your intentions are, and you yourself don't get your needs met because you never really publicly state what it is that you want. So again, in relationships, when nice guys try to become the great lover, they'll ensure that they never get those reciprocal, spontaneous moments of bliss. And, that's not a good recipe for anything. I think nice guys tend to think that sex is a one-stop for everything. It's a cure for loneliness, for boredom. It alleviates feelings of worthlessness. It smooths over conflict. It can create a feeling of being loved. It relieves stress, and it will solve all your life issues. So you believe to yourself that if I can get a fly shorty, then wase watani respect. Suddenly my shidas will go. These feelings of emptiness will leave. But those feelings are already with you. And even if you do get these people, they don't go away if you haven't put in the work. Yeah. So you find that because of these internal monologues that nice guys have, they're prone to a lot of compulsive sexual behavior. So Robert actually even states that the nicer the guy, the darker the sexual secrets. And there might be some truth to that, by the way, because if you look at hii situation yetu, it's true. There's a whole other life that we were living behind the covers, behind the scenes, and nobody would ever think that people live like that in Nairobi. And yeah, and we'll talk about it even later on in this season. So stay tuned for that. Nice guys also believe that they are bad for being sexual, or people will think that they are bad. So you think that maybe by you asking Shorty for something like that it will make you a bad guy. Kuna uchafu una associate nayo, like it's like, how can I ask for such a thing? Is that the gentlemanly way? How can I just be that forward? And there's a guy there who will come and be that forward and just swoop that shorty that you are trying to get. Just because wewe haukukuwa na hizo nini, it's like the awareness ya kustate kenye ulikuwa unataka. Even though ni kenye ulikuwa unataka, unaenda unajipatia my excuse. So you find that a lot of teenage boys actually have this perception because they would try, they have no clue how to really get a girl in the first place. So if you don't know, you convince yourself that, maybe if I'm nice to this shorty, she's gonna like I'm gonna stand out amongst this crop of other bad guys. Like staki kukua kao majama wengine. Does it mean that all these other guys are not nice guys? No, they're good guys. But you are coming at it from a perception of it's manipulative to some extent because you're doing this so that you can get something and then you're not being direct about what it is that you want. So the more the nice guy tries to seek approval and do things right, like I think the worse that he keeps on clamping a lead on any kind of energy that can actually lead somebody to him. And I'm guilty of this. Actually, not too long ago, what I had talked about in the first episode, I had opened up to someone who came into my life and tried to say that like ako interested and whatnot, yeah. But I think in my head I was still trying to be so perfect. I was trying to think that, hey, this is a shorty I can't even take for just a crazy war, like a normal restaurant or something like that. I have to take her to something cool. I have to go out of my way. I have to spend some money, when in reality, maybe you could have just gotten by even just taking a walk and talking, and your story ingeisha hapo. But like I said, you settle for trying to do things right, making things perfect, and that sometimes can cost you the relationship. Nice guys also have a lot of distorted images in their heads. These guys are heavy. You're heavy on porn. You're heavy on the girls of Instagram or the girls dancing on TikTok. You'll settle for faceless sex with girls on strip chat or chatterbait or whatever. You're trying to persuade, or you'll settle for OnlyFans. You feel me? like you'd spend top dollar to see a bunch of girls dance nude that you'd never even know, and settle for trying to persuade unavailable people to try and be with you. You want quick, compulsive masturbation, very mechanical sex, mechanical lovemaking, and you settle for a fantasy, something that isn't real. You do a lot of settling as a nice guy. And honestly, nice guys need to actually begin healing first by trying to come out of the closet. You can take matters into your own hands. What that means is healthy masturbation, and we'll get into that in a bit. You can say no to bad sex. Say no. Walk away. If it doesn't serve you, leave. You feel me? So follow these examples and you can start to experience some benefits. When guys talk about something like healthy masturbation, they encourage guys to, especially this is more for the guys who are having negative attitudes about their sexual nature. You find that a lot of guys who are maybe coming from extremely religious backgrounds or backgrounds where they weren't really allowed to express this side of themselves, you can actually sit somewhere alone too kama umetulia. Some guys even encourage you to do it with the CD on, so that pia you get an experience of what that feels like on your body. See ati the first time uko na manzi ndo time yenye unataka kwanza ku experience hiyo kitu, kwa sababu you might be allergic, things might happen, So it's good for you to have had that experience beforehand. And they tell you like, just sit, don't look at any pornography, don't even close your eyes, and just focus on what it is that you're feeling when you hit the strokes. Yeah, but it can help put a guy in charge of his own needs. It can remove the dependency on other partners like OnlyFans or the girls on OnlyFans or pornography girls, or it can help the person really learn how to please themselves first, the only person they need to please. And it gives you permission to have as much good sex as you want, because this is just you and your vibe. So it puts you in charge of your own pleasure. I highly recommend that maybe for guys who have some issues connecting with that side of themselves. When nice guys recover, they can let go of this concept of being a great lover. They are clear and they're direct. They choose available partners. Very important. inamaanisha that manzi mwenye anakulike na wewe unaweza cheki pia unaweza unamlike kiasi, ndo mwanzi mwenye unachagua. You don't fall for an illusion in society where you think that Kim Kardashian is just gonna get out of the airport. Na wendo sahi utatokea hapo. I think it is good to choose from the partners that are available to you, because that is where the experiences actually come from. And if guys are honest to themselves, you will actually notice that female energy is actually abundant and it is all around you. You just have to be, curious enough to look, and you'll see it. You'll actually see it around you. And that is the whole point of why you need to actually get out of this line of thinking. So that is Shida's a Nice Guys Part 2, mostly dealing with relationships. Next week, we're going to talk about nice guys in careers. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, peace out.
What's good, people? It's Salif Mbok right here. This is the Sisi Wanaume podcast.